So I'm using a different recording device today. We'll have to see how this works out. I got a fresh set of batteries for a Sony point and shoot. It's been sitting in a desk drawer for, I don't know, a couple of years. I suspect this is going to be a little bumpier than the previous device that I've been using, and maybe I'll go back to that one, I don't know. I've been using nothing but a Samsung, what the hell is it anyway? A Samsung Galaxy S9 Plus. But now I switched over to this Sony, I don't know what model this is. I think it's HX something. But I'm heading over to Greenpoint, and then if things go as planned, I'll land in Williamsburg. And I had a hankering to check in on Grand Avenue, which is a great stretch of road connecting Williamsburg to Maspeth. We'll see if I actually make it to all that. This part of town is what I call sex offender country. And maybe I shouldn't be so blasé about that, but the reason I call it that is, well, it goes back to a woman that I dated for a little while. I think we only went out like 5 or 6 times. But every single time we went out, somehow, some way, the topic of conversation turned to sex offenders. I never got to the bottom of her hey, that's me. That's my shadow. I never figured out how or why this happened. I swear I did not bring the conversation, the topic up myself, ever. But we actually spent part of one date night sitting at the computer typing in zip codes on the sex offender registry. And we were trying to figure out, or she already knew where they were in relation to where she lived. But we were just exploring the landscape, because sex offenders are not allowed to live within X number of feet of a school or a playground or certain other type of establishments. So they end up all living in clusters. So we spent part of date night one night typing in zip codes, and we found that this area in particular was like, there'd be like 40 or 50 sex offenders living in a particular apartment building. And there were other parts of town like that too, but this one registered because I passed through here a fair amount back then. So that's why I call this sex offender country. It was disgusting too, because the registry listed in detail all the shit that these guys did. It was all men, by the way, and they put in just gruesome detail all the shit they did to like 15-year-old girls and stuff. It was really repulsive. I used to come through here a lot because there was a cluster of payphones here. They're all gone now. But now I'm passing through here because it's a bit of a shortcut to Greenpoint. And get up to the Pulaski over here instead of walking all the way up to that intersection where the creek and the cave is. This saves about probably half a mile. Not that I'm in any hurry. This is a great intersection. I just feel like I'm going to be electrocuted if I step on these railings. And who knows, maybe I would be. This is a pretty sketchy area, though. I don't mean to joke about the sex offender thing. This is where the last payphone around here used to be. And look at this, they don't even have the yellow mat anymore. Something's up with that. Something is up with that. There was a yellow mat here before, and the yellow mat was supposed to signal that a Link NYC kiosk is coming soon. But it's gone. And they're not, the fresh removals that I've seen recently, they don't have the mat there anymore. Maybe Link NYC is forever stuck in time. There's a Descanso up ahead for a kid that got mowed down by a truck. It's been a couple of years now. These things have their impact, but honestly, it's enough to make me swear I will never ride a bike in this town. End of story. Speaking of Link NYC, though, that's all I want to talk about, right? This is LIRR tracks, by the way. Speaking of Link NYC, we're right around the corner from the manufacturing plant for those things. They used to build the Link NYC kiosks in Astoria on 31st Avenue over by Vernon. I guess they got kicked out or something, or needed a cheaper place because they moved from that relatively Tony environment to this asshole part of Queens. I feel bad saying that, though. I mean, what the hell? These guys got jobs, right? They probably don't even care about the location. And you know what? I haven't been out here in a while. For all I know, they're not even here anymore. Oh yeah, there it is. It says intersection over the door. So this is where the magic happens, or at least it used to. I don't know if they're still assembling new kiosks or not. But the corporate headquarters is over in the much hated Hudson Yards. There's always there's some kind of irony about that. That they're so high above the fray, they don't really relate to what happens with their product down here. All right, let's get up onto the Pulaski. parking lot where they park their army of Lincoln NYC vans. I don't know if you can read that on the side of the one closest. I see those around town once in a while. I doubt that, sucker. Sweet sentiment, but I could use more than just a hug. Yeah, I know. I have a zoom now. Big deal, right? I'm just testing things out to see if it gets shakier, as I'm sure it probably does. I'll find out later when I play all this back. This is a scary spot, by the way. I'm sort of losing my balance because I get a little bit of the fear of heights. Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner. My favorite thing about Greenpoint is the street names. Java Street, Box Street, India Street. The street names made a lot more sense to me when somebody pointed out that they're alphabetical. Or mostly alphabetical. There's a couple of non-alphabetical intrusions, but like it made a lot more sense to me because how do you know where you are? Exactly. So once you know that it's alphabetical, it gives you a sense of bearing. I'm not sure what street this is. But we're coming up on Manhattan Avenue. It's pretty quiet up on the bridge today. I'm surprised. Really beautiful day. And I think we're finally done with cold weather. All the payphones in Greenpoint are gone. I think the last two disappeared a couple of years ago.
How
All right, this is Eagle Street. And this is one of the non-alphabetical intruders. Oh, no, it's not. No, it's not. Yeah, the next street starts with an F. Freeman. Freeman is the name of the dude who died a couple of days ago. Sorry to butt in with that little bit of depressing commentary. Now, this is where they were. Corner of Manhattan Avenue and India Street. I know at least one of them worked. Made good quality calls all the way to the end. But that's not what it's about. It's a nice street lamp. And there's Java Street, my favorite street name around here. Yeah, that sign is completely wrong. The Greenpoint Avenue sign is right, but the Manhattan Avenue one is completely facing the wrong way. Maybe somebody's making a statement. When I said all the payphones were gone, I was referring to outdoor phones. I knew this one was still here at Christina's on Manhattan Avenue. And I do believe this number is listed on my website. This hasn't worked in probably 15 years. It's a beauty though, it's in good shape. This is what you get with Link NYC. You even see some of that in Astoria. You never used to see that kind of stuff. But coming up on Norman Avenue. My father's name was Norman. Norman Day Thomas. So far, so good on the battery for this old camera. I'm being a little conservative about the length of the videos that I'm doing so far, but I don't want to run out before we get to Grand Avenue. Is it Grand Avenue or Metropolitan? I always get those two mixed up. Or maybe they merge or something. I don't know. Wow. There's an outdoor dining shack. I bet you those things are gonna become permanent. And hey, why not? It creates that much more floor space for the restaurants. That much more room for customers. Looks like somebody's saving a parking space. That's illegal. I shall call the law. Here's a K6 phone box turned into an ATM. This has been here a long time. This is outside a comedy club, I think. Well, at least it used to be a comedy club. there was never a payphone in this thing. I was just starting to think, or just about to comment how quiet it is around here. I was about to ask, where is everybody? I guess here's where they're hiding out. This is McCarren Park. Sounds like there's some live music up ahead. I'm hoping the bathroom is open. It should be.
It was probably.
This is Driggs Avenue. This is where I had a rehearsal once with, I think it was just me and a percussionist. And that was not the full ensemble, but the other players couldn't make it. But it didn't matter. The percussionist went on to make a whole lot of money writing ringtones for cell phones. But in the rehearsal, we had a break, and we were doing a new piece by a Williamsburg-based composer. And during a break in the rehearsal, he asks me, like, why do people do this? And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, why do people keep writing music? Don't we have enough of it? And he was serious. He wasn't even being sarcastic. He was like being genuine. And I'm like, why are you a musician if you're asking these questions? You know, if you're asking why people keep writing music, well, turn the question around and ask why do people keep playing it? Why do you keep playing it? I thought this was going to have an old exchange name phone number on it, because this is one of those little placards where you can often expect to find like a Havemire number or an evergreen, but this one doesn't have it. Okay, so I made it to Metropolitan. I said Grand earlier. I think Metropolitan merges with Grand, but I make a point of not making a point to plan these little excursions if I go on, because I don't like to memorize the street grid or anything. But and I never plan these things in the form of looking at a map or doing any of those sort of things most normal people would do. Now you're talking. Yes, please. things like this that make me think I have blurry vision, or that I'm terribly hungover when I'm not. And it just gets worse. Why did I do this? Yeah. One of the side effects of not planning is that I sometimes feel like I don't know where I'm going, or I think I'm going the wrong direction, or I think I'm lost. And that was just starting to happen, but now this is looking familiar. Just stick to Metropolitan Avenue until it leads to a bridge that connects Brooklyn to Queens. I think I see Grand Avenue up ahead.
It's yours, right?
Metropolitan meets Grand. And we go over this little drawbridge. Not without taking a look at this thing. Very elaborate. It's called the Metropolitan Avenue Bridge. Clever, right?
There was no base point.
Yeah, I know. Welcome to Queens. I believe I said Grand Avenue, and that's a rookie mistake. It's Grand Street, which later becomes Grand Avenue. I think I made another rookie mistake in saying that this was Queens. I think there's another bridge you have to cross before you exit Brooklyn, or maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I'm making this up as I go. There's a monster pile of scrap metal. I think that's been there a long time. Lots of scrap metal heaps around here. Okay, I was right that I was wrong. This is still Brooklyn. This, I believe, is the bridge that we cross to get to Queens. And during the week, this bridge is always jam-packed with traffic. Then again, who am I to say always? I've probably only been here a dozen times. But it just always seemed to be very, very packed and backed up with traffic. There's your Manhattan skyline. No standing. Well, what am I supposed to do now? I'll show you. This is 47th Street. And if I remember right, this is kind of a shortcut over to 56th Road via an industrial complex, or not sure what you'd call it actually. But it's an area that I thought was private property for a long time, but it's just regular city streets, but it sure feels like you're in you're on private property at times. And during the week, it's a pretty scary area, really, because there's these monster trucks just barreling through, and they're not looking for people on the ground. They're not expecting individuals. And you're just like a toothpick compared to those guys. There is still going to be some activity today, but yeah, I remember this. Nice little piece of waterfront. Okay, so this used to be a road that crossed Newtown Creek. This is just a cool little space. Interesting. I wouldn't be surprised if drag racing goes on here. Almost fell. Maspeth Avenue, I think if I were to follow that, I think I'd wind up at New Calvary. But I'm going to go this way. Which should, unless I'm completely lost, this should land me at 56th Road, which connects to Laurel Hill Boulevard, which is where Old Calvary is. There's a whole bunch of fire trucks. I'll bet this is a real popular meeting point. Yeah, let's meet at 49th Street and 57th Avenue. Crossing the street here used to be a real tricky thing until they put those stop signs in. I think we're coming up on one of my favorite telephone exchange name sightings. I'm pretty sure it's this way. I get disoriented. Maspeth is that way. If you go far enough, you'll merge with Rust Avenue, or maybe it was Rust Road. Well, here comes some speed demons. They're just going to blow through that stop sign. Oh, okay. Yep, they did. didn't 100% blow through it, but they're probably going to run this red light. Yep. I called it. In case of necessity, call Independence 18642. So I don't know, that has to prove that at some point in time there was a payphone around here. And what is the necessity anyway? Is this a bathroom? It's part of a UPS facility. UPS and FedEx have huge facilities out here. There's the big bad Kosciuszko. This is one of the streets where you can park forever. I wouldn't be surprised if some of these trucks have been here for months. Wouldn't be surprised if somebody lives in that what do you call that? A mobile home. Nice, I've never driven one of these. Looks like it would be fun. And there she is, Old Calvary. I can see the chapel. to change the battery, I think. Well, I can't complain about the battery life on that camera. But what I did just happen to run out of when I switched batteries was storage. I wasn't really planning to make such a long journey when I decided to use that camera. Or, I mean, I didn't plan ahead in terms of clearing out the memory card. So, I'm continuing this with the cell phone. Even though it's awkward and uncomfortable as hell for me to hold this to maintain the horizontal orientation, but I'm not going to record much longer anyway, I don't think. I'm not going to go through Calvary. That was nice, she waved. I guess she can tell I'm making video. This is why I don't like to do it in crowded areas. This is COVID corner. This is where they carved out a whole bunch of spots for the COVID-19 deaths. And many of the dates of death are clustered around March and April. When it was at full tilt. Coming up on the entrance to the pedestrian path on the Kosciuszko. There didn't used to be one on the old Kosciuszko. I'm not going to go up there today, but that is definitely on my list of walk-in talks. This little area used to be pretty damn desolate, pretty damn devoid of people. But it is a little more active with the skateboarders and all. I guess it's a good spot for that. This walkway takes you over to Woodside. And I'm going to cross over this, and I think that'll be it for this pursuit, for this Stramble. Because this is a cool little walkway. It's worth experiencing. Yeah, my arm is already getting tired from holding the phone this way. I know how I suffer, right? Okay, well, we made it to the Queens Midtown Expressway, and I've walked about 9 miles. I don't even feel the least bit tired.